the current layout held in place since 2008 and overseen by F1 track architect Herman Tilke. The Drivers' Championship has never been decided at Imola, but two Constructors' Championship titles have been. Williams sealed their maiden title at the circuit in 1980, while Mercedes were crowned champions for a record-breaking 7 consecutive years.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 16, round number 6 of the Championship. Welcome to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix here at Imola, and we should be in for an absolutely fantastic evening of racing. I'm your host, Zach RC. We are just waiting on my co-commentator, Touch of Hope, to arrive, and we shall mock him for being late as he arrives, as that is what we do in this league. But it should be an entertaining race here tonight. Of course, there's big news coming out of the RDL camp from last week's race in Miami, which we will cover in a few moments' time when Pope arrives. But for now, we'll just get started qualifying here. It's a wet circuit today. Intermediate tyres, the primary choice for everyone on the racetrack, so we could be in for a bit of a different race. So we get to see a wet race all season, and there's a chance we could see a very different kind of race here today. 18 drivers expected for tonight's race. 17 of them are here right now, and we're just waiting on BJ in terms of drivers and Pope in terms of commentators. So keep an eye out for everyone making their way through here for the start of this their first qualifying runs. And we'll wait for Pope to arrive for us to do our usual lap of the circuit. Hopefully it shouldn't be too long. If it does take a while though, I'll simply try and do a lap myself. Obviously I'm not as good as Pope is with that sort of thing. First go round though, Lucky Lambert, previous winner here at Imola. Won this Grand Prix back in Season 12. See BJ during the session there. Curtis retiring very early on here. Maybe a crash potentially at the exit of the Villeneuve chicane. Could be in trouble very early on here. Unfortunately despawned before we actually managed to see it. Run on board the Arsenal fan in the Mercedes. But hopefully it should be a fun evening of racing regardless of the rain that has hit the circuit in terms of qualifying. Unsure of the weather for the race. If it's anything like this, then we could be in for a very different affair tonight. Of course, we'll fill Pope in as and when he gets here. Run on board here with the returning Imri, who was out of the race in Miami last week but has returned to the league for Imola. And looking forward to potentially this time having a better second spell perhaps than the first one. He comes to the last couple of corners now, making his way through. Lucky Lambert, it's just the first time of the session, 1 minute 23.4. Once again, I see one of the Williams just crossed the line. Imri with the next one through. He goes fastest here. 1 minute 21.4. Fantastic lap time there. And on pole by two seconds provisionally. You see his teammate there, Red J. Again he's in the Ferrari tonight. He's making his debut previously with Ferrari last week in Miami, and now of course again taking that full-time seat. All will be explained when Pope gets here. We are starting to see the first few laps being set now. I'm being told the reason for Curtis' retirement at the exit of Villeneuve is due to a malfunction with his wheel. So potential trouble for the Alfa Romeo here. C110P fan goes second fastest there, 1 minute 22.7, sort of bridging the gap between first and third. PJ Kelly in the Alpine now taking that third spot. Now Ethan goes fourth. So two Alpines making a solid start to the session. We'll keep an eye on those two as things continue on. Of course, those guys have hit a bit of a good patch of form in the last few races. Arsenal fan goes P6. Slides to the slowest time right now, P7, 1 minute 37.36. So I imagine he'll want to improve on that without doubt. JB goes third fast in the Aston Martin at 1:23.025, just 0.3 off Fan. Very impressive time there. He goes through the Tamburello chicane for once again. Yellow flag in 6-2. That's towards Ackerman and Riley there. That's where one of the Williams cars slowing up to accommodate the Alpine of Ethan. And that would be Grumio. So Grumio yet to set a lap time here. He's on his way around, but I imagine he'll probably be binning off this first lap and going again. His ERS there on full charge. We're going to send it in to overtake and kick off his first real run pole position. So the big news out of the league from last week's race in Miami, of course, was Nicholas winning his 5th Grand Prix in a row. But after the stewards' report posted on Tuesday, the day after the race in Miami, the stewards ruled differently in terms of the outcomes of each finishing order. Nicholas was demoted to 6th place at the end for 2 separate incidents. This then gave the man on your screen now Grumio the race victory, with Landlord in 2nd and Schlesinger home in 3rd. Nicholas has since departed the league and is being replaced full-time by Red J. So, a fresh Ferrari lineup from last week. Imrie returning and Red J now currently the longest serving of the 2 Ferrari drivers, despite having only been here 2 weeks. If we count Imrie's 2 runs as separate spells. Of course, as it stands, he has done the most races for Ferrari of the 2. He's still on pole right now, 1:27.4. Grovey up to P2. Sits 4th on the championship standings right now. With the departure of Nicholas, that championship lead is now wiped out. It goes to Landlord now, who sits 11 points clear of Grumio in the championship, if my maths are correct, which indeed they are. Schlesinger 1 point back in 3rd place in the other Red Bull. We'll be looking for definitely looking for an improved time. So we'll keep an eye on the Red Bull as it makes its way through. Still waiting on 3 more cars set lap times, like on Cotley Goblin and BJ. See one of the Williams cars making their way in there. That'll be Landlord. Grovey into the pits as well. Grumio, 3 laps on his intermediate tyres. He's 2 tenths up in the first sector. Through Ackerman early he goes. And back up the hill. Good exit there. Looking for a clean run towards the next chicane. There he is, get wrong. He's 7 tenths up now. It's not enough yet for pole position. He needs about another 4 or 5 tenths in order to knock Imrie off the perch. But he's got a good chance here as he makes his way through. Perhaps locking up a little bit down those inters into the last left-hander. 2 Raptors there. And off the last corner, charging towards the line, it's Grumio, who doesn't go pole but goes 2nd. Improves by just under a 2nd. And knocks Grovey off the front row. And Landlord down to P4. There's C110P fan back up another lap here. Having invalidated this effort. Lucky Lambert there in P7. Lucky that was in the race last week, if my memory is correct. Majority of cars come back to the pits now after their first runs. Only a few of them left out on the track right now. One of them being Red J, who's 6 tenths down in his previous effort. I imagine he may stop this time. Yes, in he comes. Schlesinger looking for any sort of improvement he can get from his previous effort, but I imagine he's setting up to again here. Yellow flag, that would be C110P fan. Some kind of problem at the chicane. Instant all cleared now. He's back up to speed. And I think he's going to probably come in this time. 4 laps on those tyres. Let me say, I got one more effort here. And 5 laps now. It's not often we see a driver do this many laps in a session, but that's what the intermediate tyres do. Simply go a lot longer than the driver of the tyres over the space of 1 lap. Imri on his way back round now. Looking to perhaps improve on his pole time if he can. Towards the line. He does improve, only just. Just under a tenth quicker than Grumio right now. He's back in the pit at the end of his first run. Grovey and Landlord both on out laps here. And coming through with the next cars across the line. We'll keep an eye on Grovey's lap here. Good start so far. Just makes the way out the Tamburello chicane, now down towards Villeneuve. Into the second sector now, we'll keep an eye on the Red Bull. And Pope is in the session, and I believe we should be seeing him in the comments box shortly. Grovey, they're coming through to finish her lap. And she could be on course potentially upset the cars in front of her here. We'll have to keep very close when she comes to the line. She doesn't quite do it, but again, bridges that gap between the pole time and the second place time that little bit more. Only a tad bit faster than Grumio, just a couple hundredths of a second in it. Sliding on his way through, he's put himself to P4 after a very solid lap. 1 minute 21.6, that's 1/10. Or just under 1/10 in front of Landlord, about 300ths in it. We'll see if Landlord can improve. He's invalidated his lap, so that's to come around once more. 5 minutes to go in the session, so plenty of time for things still to change. Found off the last corner. Again, still on that same set of tyres, but coming in now. I imagine he'll change them and go on to one last run. PJ Callagher up to P7 now. Yellow flag in front, that's one of the Haas cars. That would be the Haas of Websey. Still waiting on 3 of our remaining 17 drivers in the session to come out for their laps. Larcon, Connie Golan and BJ yet to set times. Imri here up front on the lap. Of that top 4, Grovey the only one still on her tyres from her previous lap. Could the extra grip on the fresh inters help with potentially upsetting Imri's pole time? We'll have to wait and see. Grumio on his next lap now. This could be his last run. Definitely being a lot more aggressive this time around than perhaps on his previous runs. You see him really pushing the track limits. Very slow there in the first sector, 1.3 down. Slazenger giving room to the Aston Martin as they pass. That would be Lucky Lambert. Grovey goes fastest there. 1 at 21.2. She puts herself on pole position. And Imrie now has work still on what will be his last run. But the Rebel driver puts himself in front now, and Imrie's got work to do. For the first time, he's chasing the pole time in this session. And Grumio looking for another late run if he can. And Landau goes second now, so Imrie off the front row completely. This session's been turned its head very quickly with a brand new front row. Imrie, though, is 2 tenths up in the first sector. That's what he needs right now. If he can get another 2, or any more time, then he will reclaim pole as his teammate Red J moves out of the way there. Alsbach and O'Reilly now towards the chicane and the second sector split. We'll see what he comes up with. He's lost a 10th there. He needs a bit. He's getting a bit more time in this last sector. He's got to nail it. Slight loss to the back end there out the chicane. And now coming towards the 2 reactors at the end of the circuit, looking to try and reclaim pole. Very aggressive on the entry and on the exit of the corner now. Coming towards the line, can he do it? He taps the wall, but he gets it anyway. And Grovey retires in the pit lane from the session. Imrie goes back on pole. Grumio way off the circuit there. And only the car still on the racetrack. Be able to set lap times from here. Grumio trying to get himself a nice bit of space between him and the rest of his competitors. Spin there for the last corner. That's the Aston. Not spin. That's one of the Aston Martins there. That is Lucky Lambert on the grass. And now bring it back to the pit lane when the track is clear. Everyone coming through now for their last laps. Shane off in the grass there. Not just making errors. Shane letting his teammate go as Arsenal fan attempts to get a higher position on the starting grid. Waiting for that checker flag to drop now. Imrie is second down. Perhaps thinks his time is safe. Landau is 7 tenths down in the first sector. Grumio has just started his last lap. The checker flag is there. Imrie retired from the session now. So Landau was down in the first sector. Unsure where Grumio was. Landau was second down. Grumio 10th down. So it's not a fantastic start for those guys. It's looking like Imrie's not going to be on pole right now. Webb's into P6. Here comes Fan towards the line. Can he improve at all? Takes P6 for himself. But can Webbsy nick it back? He's half second down. I wouldn't imagine so now. Shane 8 seconds down. JB is a quarter of a second up. A couple of tenths more and he could potentially squeeze him in between those two Alpines. Grumio retired from the session there, calling it quits on his lap. Landau saves P3. Slazenger only just down his effort right now. Whether he's got enough to gain another tenth in the last sector. To potentially put himself on the second row, split up the Williams cars. Here he comes towards the line. Does he have enough? He does. Only just goes P4. Shane the last car over the line. Webbsy in the pit lane now. And it will be Imrie who goes on pole for this 6th round of the championship here at Imola. Fantastic qualifying session there. So then Imrie will lead Grovey. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, that's good enough. That's correct. Imrie will lead Grovey down to the first corner. Landau starts in 3rd, Slazenger 4th, Grumio in 5th, Fan 6th, Webbsy 7th, and Lucky Lambert in 8th. Those are your potential point scorer positions for now. In a few minutes' time, we're back for the start of the race. Make sure not to miss it. It promises to be a very close one indeed. Welcome back then, welcome back to the round 6 of the Racers Driving League Season 16, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix here at Imola, and I am joined by my wonderful co-commentator, Touchby Pope. Pope, do you want to explain to us what's been going on?
Realistically, no. People in the Discord have seen it. Yeah, I've been struggling quite a lot to adapt to flat life, and it is presumed once again to struggle. However, we're here now. That's the main thing.
We are indeed.
Exciting qualifying, obviously a bit of rain. We'd like to see it. Does that hold anything towards the race? I'm not too sure.
No,
I do believe it was Imri.
That is correct. Yes. Sorry,
Fantastic.
Cut off for a second there because I didn't have the stream set up right. I'm trying out new transitions. Those of you who have noticed, there is your race preview. It should be an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix here at a very historic circuit. Should be great fun.
One of the best circuits on one of my personal favourites as well. A bit like Monaco in terms of how tight the track actually is, and there's only very few overtaking opportunities. One that you'll see in a second as the cars head down to turn 1.
Right. Well, we'll get to that. That'll be the Tamburello chicane. We'll have a look at your starting lineup then, shall we, Pope, for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix round 6 of the championship. BJ starting from dead last. Both he, like Curtis was out. Lycon failed to set time. So those guys starting at the back of the field. Red J in his second start for Ferrari, starting from P15 in Ferrari's one of their home races this season. Courtney Goblin, I believe, set a lap later in qualifying, so which we didn't quite see, which is unfortunate because it's rare we get a Courtney lap, but he did set one by the looks of things. So it's always positive there. Arsenal fan starts from P13 from Mercedes, and it's PJ Khaled, one of the Alpines there. Of course, Alpine a bit of a run lately, looking to try and continue that in today's race. JB starts 11th place. Ethan just inside of the top 10. Shane starts in 9th, looking to try and add some more points to his challenge. Lucky Lambert on his comeback this week. He wasn't here for Miami, was he, Pope? Do you remember at all?
No, he was not here for Miami.
Didn't think so. Okay, cool, excellent. Webbsy starts from P7, looking to try and rekindle some of that form from last season. The reigning champion, the man who beat the title last season, Fan in P6. Grumio starts from 5th, declared last week's winner in Miami after the Stewards report. Sladger lines up in 4th place, looking to continue Red Bull's charge. Landlord's now your new championship leader. He lines up in 3rd place. Grovey on the outside of the front row. Sedgwick's expecting to fall down towards the end of the qualifying due to the progression of the track, and it's Imri who sits on pole position. In his return to the league, so I hope this could be a very different Imri to what we saw both last season at the start of this season.
Indeed. So yeah, it'd be nice to see Imri come be at the top. I think for the first time starting on pole position, so we'll see if the pressure hits the driver on his return. It's a very daunting place to be, especially around Imola where that run to turn 1 is actually quite long. So if he does not get a great exit, Grovey in P2 and Landlord in P3 would definitely like to sweep up that position. And bear in mind, Imri's the only Ferrari in the top 8, so Red Bull and Williams are going to really want to pounce on that, especially Williams, who will want to extend their championship lead in the constructors.
Speaking of pouncing, I see Landlord lining himself up slightly more to the right on the in this grid spot. So perhaps looking to try and attack down the middle if both Imri and Grovey start poorly. BJ takes the last spot here on the grid, ready to get racing here at Imola. It should be a very exciting counter. Landlord really out of line there. Look at that. Perhaps a sign of attack as the lights come on for the round number 6 of the Racers Driving League Season 16 here at Imola. It's lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. We're underway here in round number 6. Grovey, the great getaway there, jumping into the lead over Imri as they charge towards that first corner. They can still go side by side towards Tamburello. They come. Who's been lost on the brakes? Grovey nips in front. She takes the lead at the first corner. Imri down second. Landlord to hold third. Pleasant fourth. And Fan up to 5th place. Poor start for Grumio. He's down a place. Webbsy on the soft tyres, P7. Lucky still P8. Everyone keeping it nice and clean here to get through the first corners. Imri and Grovey trying to shoot away from Landlord here, but not getting away just yet. Oh, contact! One car off the track. That was Lucky Lambert on the grass. Webbsy almost going across the circuit completely. Both are recovered. Unsure of who's got damage, if anyone's got damage, but it's Grovey and Imri up front who lead. Webbsy recovers the car. Lucky still be in the race.
Yeah, very good. But for Lucky being in the race, Lucky being indeed lucky, but I'm not too sure if it doesn't look like he's got any front wing damage, which is even more lucky for So. But yeah, Webbsy losing the back end through there. I think those soft tyres have overheated a little bit too quickly for him. But Grovey with a fantastic start to this Grand Prix, already taking the lead over Imri, especially on those hard tyres. She's going to find it very hard to keep him behind in these early stages of the race. However, a great gap.
Oh, contact! Sorry to cut you off there, Pope.
No, it's perfect timing, really. That was, yeah,
very close
between those two going through there. Obviously, turn 17 of the track is a very good overtaking opportunity, but yeah. So I think it's kind of affected Imri a little bit on the run on the start-finish straight, but it's already looking to me that Grovey's got a very, very heavy straight line speed set up. Someone who probably preferred the race over qualifying. It's something to keep an eye out for the rest of the race.
Definitely, it's good we've got a dry Grand Prix. This one of the circuits. It isn't too entertaining in the wet, if I'm completely honest. Definitely a lot more fun in the dry when DRS comes into play. Of course, the one DRS zone down the main straight. I'm sensing very Verstappen-Leclerc sort of vibes as we begin lap number 2 of this race. Grovey pulling away to about 4 tenths now, but Imri keeping pace. Landlord about 7 tenths back. The new championship leader now having to cope with trying to defend his lead, but of course 11 points over his teammate Grumio. But these two we're looking to try and make a mark as Imri looks to get some real points to the board, and Grovey still looks for her first career victory.
Yeah, Landlord's in a place where he's obviously won championships before. It's nothing new to him, but it's something that I always look at is Landlord will always be there no matter what, and someone who I would say Imri does remind me quite a bit of in terms of the defensive driving and sometimes how heated you can get in that cockpit. I always found it very, very hard to fight Landlord on track. It was one of the most stressful times, I do have to say.
Landlord, obviously, very good driver, well respected in the RDR. As for the championship count, Imri to the outside of Grovey here, looking for the race lead, going into Tamburello. The Red Bull makes the wise move, backs out of it, and potentially get a better run off the corner. Imri now takes the lead, but Grovey right there with him as they run towards Villeneuve on this third lap. It looks as though Imri's got it for the time being, but have to watch himself going down that main straight when they come through to begin lap 4. If Grovey can keep pace, and it's allowed Landlord and Sliders to catch up too, of course, both Red Bulls on those hard tyres. It's mixed strategy for the Williams. Landlord on mediums and Grumio on the hard. So those guys look to go longer on their first stint. Potentially can push a bit more if they need to. Curtis making a move on Webbsy, dropping back here down to P16. Not a fantastic start. And of course, given Pope he's on soft tyres, you'd think he'd want to try and push as much as you can out of those tyres. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste of that first stint.
Yeah, I do believe Webbsy might have disconnected during this. So
oh yeah, actually, yeah, I'm going to see on the screen. Yeah.
Possible. But yeah, one thing I do want to make mention is what you picked up on a lot. Red Bull's been on hard tyres. That obviously I don't really know what the weather's saying for the rest of this race. It does look to be dry all the way through, but there is a grey cloud in the distance, so never say never here at Imola. You normally do see a sprinkle of rain at some point, but something that is very interesting to note. But we see Landlord trying to make a move on Grovey, and this is the DRS going into play. Has to back out to Imri, so Grovey takes P1. Landlord down the inside of Imri, and just like that, that's how powerful the DRS is on that main straight. Imri's gone down from first to third.
Double whammy for the Ferrari driver there. on lap number 4. Grovey now back in the top spot, and Landlord hunting her down. Slazenger keeping pace with these guys. He's about half a second off Imri right now, but Grumio almost 2 seconds back, and Fan chasing him. 2 champions there fighting over the 5th spot. JB up to 7th. He's got Shane right behind him and PJ Keller for company too. Of course, those Alpines been on a run of form recently, looking for some more points to get themselves further up the order. So we'll keep an eye on them throughout the day. I see one of the AlphaTaurians there taking a bit of a different exit. That's Lycon, or sorry, the only AlphaTauri in the field. No Che with us this week. I believe we're missing him, and then one other driver who I can't put my finger on as of right now. It'd be the other Alfa Romeo. So that would be... I'm forgetting... Who's in the other Alfa Romeo, sorry?
Other Alfa Romeo, that's a fantastic question, my friend.
Cott's in the Alfa Romeo. Right, sorry.
Cott, yes.
Okay. My brain is still there.
That one out there. We do apologise, Cott. We do love you.
We do. But I forget because like... Anyway, we'll go back to the task at hand and back on the racing before I forget anything else. Anyway, Grumio takes the fastest lap of the race there. No extra point going his way. Of course, thanks to the point system, which I say has definitely given us a close fight so far this season, Pope. Of course, Nicholas no longer with us in the RDL, so that gap he had from those first four or five races wiped out completely. So Lando now leads the championship. He's still got a race win. He's still a race win in front of Grumio, but a win from Grumio and a no score from Lando today would put it just 1 point between the 2 Williams teammates.
Yeah, very close between those two, and I always do forget that we don't do fastest lap points. It's so ingrained in me now. At this point, we have a fastest lap point, but yeah, something that I do have to say is I actually do enjoy the fastest lap point. I've been overly very honest about my view on the point system, but it's working fantastically now. This is where we get into a point of, yes, we do have a top 6, maybe even a top 7 some races, especially when you invite Cott into the mix. And if Nicholas was here today, you'd have, if Nicholas was still here, someone who dominated the first 4 races. I can't deny that. So if he was still here, then it might be a different story. But right now we have Shane, JB, PJ and Ethan all fighting for points, and that's something that I think we've all been desperate to see, especially for me, PJ, who deserves at least a point today after that incredible showing at Miami.
Definitely, and I believe he ended up with a point or 2 at the end after Stewart took, of course, contact between him and Grovey on the final lap, which led to Grovey in the end finishing in P11. She's down to P2 now as Lando next to lead off her going towards Tamburello. So that's another 3 race leaders so far, Pope, from the first 6 laps. This race has gone by quite quickly so far. We've still got about 26 more laps of action to come our way.
Yeah, obviously Grumio passes Slazenger. Slazenger really struggling at that point, and just riding on board with Slazenger. In the distance, I see a flashing red light from Imri. So Imri...
Oh, yellow flag.
Oh, yeah. Who is
Arsenal
that?
fan around.
Fan.
The exit Tamburello.
Yeah, go around.
Recovers it though.
Shame.
Bit of a
Shame for Arsenal fan. Just hasn't hit a run of form at this moment, so will be something to keep an eye out on. See how the Mercedes team reacts to that over the next coming weeks. But what I was saying is, if you guys didn't know, the red flashing light at the back of the car does mean that you have 10% or less of ERS. So it shows that Emery's been trying to use that to keep up. Obviously, still within that second, but just falling behind here a little bit, which is going to put him right at the grips of Grumio. Indeed,
so. And I saw him using some of the overtake down the straight going towards the 2 Rabatas there. So taps even lower. You can see Grumio looking to line up an attack, and I see Grovey looking to line one up too. She's a lot closer to Lando than Grumio is to Imri, and she'll go to the inside now looking for the lead. These guys going back and forth position. Grovey retakes the lead going into turn 1. And Grumio to the inside.
Oh,
gets it just about.
Very fair driving between the pair of them. Fantastic move.
Indeed, and so Imri down to P4 now. The pole setter potentially could be next on the hit list for Slazenger and the Red Bull, but I definitely saw him. You said he was struggling, but I'm seeing it without a doubt. I saw him going through Villeneuve there. Not the best of runs, but he keeps it within range of DRS. Fan there, 2 seconds back, in a world of his own right now with JB 4.2 behind. There's now 5 cars in that mix. Lucky Lambert, JB's teammate, looking to enter the kerfuffle now for himself. Try and nab a point for Aston Martin if he can. Try and join his teammate up there where he's got 3 cars to work his way through before he reaches JB. 2 of those being the Alpines, and 1 of them being Shane, who is over the course of this season, has definitely grown to be a thorn in the side of some of these regulars in terms of running for these points paying places.
Yeah, we saw glimpses of Shane last season, most notably in Monza. I think was fantastic, and just a shame he was disconnected during that race.
That is correct, yes.
Which no points, but yeah, very, very unlucky for him. But he's getting there. He's getting a bit of momentum. I feel like for someone who he's always maybe not with that top group, but put in the bubble of his own in a way. This is really coming into fruition. And yeah, I was just going to make mention of this incredible 5-car fight. 6 cars now if you include BJ. Can't really split it that much. Everyone's within a second of each other. This is going to get really, really tasty, I can imagine.
And JB's just lost 2 places there while being taken on by both Shane and PJ. So those guys in the points now. But JB coming right back at PJ now, going towards Villeneuve. They're side by side. One of them's got to give. It looks like PJ's going to give here. He's down to P9 and narrowly avoiding a little run for the gravel. Yeah, you can say a number of cars now involved in that main train now. Of course, so from going from P7 to, you could say P13. Curtis at the back of that pack is getting involved. And BJ from the back of the field now up to P12. So 6 places gained in the opening 8 laps. Not bad at all for the McLaren driver there. Of course, still, you've got to remember a part of that, the reigning Constructors' Championship winning pairing. Despite the start they've had this season perhaps not being as high running as they were last season, but of course that can't take away from their performances so far. Given I'd say, especially the start of the season here, because we're still already in the opening rounds. The points tally doesn't really reflect the strength of the team so far, if I'm honest, because obviously we know Fan and BJ are a very strong lineup. We've got a number of strong lineups alongside them this season as well.
Yeah, we do have really, really strong lineups this season, which is obviously great to see. But I think, yeah, obviously they are currently 4th in the Constructors' Championship with 16 points. Obviously 16 points sounds very low, but obviously we've transitioned to a completely new point structure, so that's always something to keep in mind. But looking at that, everyone kind of stay in position on that run. I'm fixated by this battle here for P7. It's just incredible driving by this pack of cars.
Oh, bit of a poor exit from PJ there. He's going to lose P9 and perhaps even P10 if Lucky gets his way off the corner. Doesn't quite do it, but that could have been very, very costly for the Alpine as his teammate goes on through. And that puts a bit of gap in there between the 2 leaders of that pack. Shane and JB now pulling away. JB is all over the back of that Mercedes as they run towards Aqua Minerali once again. And on the exit, JB's got a better drive off there. He could go for a move potentially. Although if it were me, I'd stay clear of making a move going into that chicane unless you absolutely have to. Sort of like, unless it was sort of the last lap, sort of really going for it in those late stages. Was JB making his way through? It's such close racing.
That chicane is fantastic.
It is.
That chicane is fantastic to make a move at it. You really feel accomplished. But I do believe JB let off just a little bit on that throttle to make sure he's got DRS. But a poor exit here is not going to give full power of that DRS. So
here comes Ethan though.
As well.
Ethan could get both of them.
Noticed that.
Sorry.
Oh,
double move.
Wow.
Almost. Can he do it? Oh, contact.
Oof.
Shane off in the gravel. He rejoined.
It's a shame that because very close.
Close.
Between I believe that was Curtis or BJ. That was very, very close between those 2. But yeah, Imri has made a move back up past Grumio. So those medium tyres seemingly having a second wind of life.
And that won't be a good sign for Grovey, of course, because if that's the case, and it's not just down to driving style, then Landlord could be in with another run as well. Of course, he and Grovey have been trading the race lead back and forth here. But Imri is on an absolute charge here, Pope. You're right, he's pushing himself back into the fight here. He's back inside DRS range, and now could be lining up a move potentially similar to what we saw of Ethan just then.
Yeah, back in the DRS of the front 2. It's going to close up that top 4 once again. And Slash is just fading a little bit away from these guys. I'm not too sure what the pit window is. I expect probably within the next 3 laps we'll see these medium runners pit. But Landlord's not going to be thinking about that as he storm rolls past Grovey. She was defenseless in that situation.
Did you mean steamroll there, Pope?
Same thing. Fair
enough. I'm looking at it here. I see Shane in the pit lane here making the first stop of the Grand Prix. There's a wing change going on, so he must have picked up damage from that shunt with Ethan at turn 1, which is a shame because without damage, I would have liked to see him try and come back through that pack there because I reckon he definitely had the pace to do it. But he's on a set of hard tyres now. I dare say, if he manages those well, Pope, could they see the end of the race, you think?
23 laps. It's a bit long, I would say, if they're expecting 14 laps or maybe 15 laps on those medium tyres. I'm not too sure, but yeah, possible. Let's hopefully for Shane really, because like you said, done fantastic in that first stint, and it's a shame about the front wing damage. But these fresh tyres will be able to get a sort of undercut on these battling cars.
Definitely. But by my count, the race has got 21 laps to go.
21, 22, because obviously we do lap 32 as well.
That is indeed correct.
21 now.
And what you are right about that is that top four is definitely closing up. But Imre, as I say that, perhaps backing off. Not backing off, but I think the more these two fight, the more Imre and Grumio should close in. Sliding to 3 seconds back all by himself, as is Fan. Ethan a further 7 back, defending from JB, who perhaps isn't getting as much of a run as he was on previous lap sets. Perhaps not a fantastic exit from the last corner. May have hindered him here. PJ still P9, Lucky still P10. BJ and Kerr still the same places. Shane, of course, rejoining dead last. He's got a penalty here. That's 3 seconds, I think, for track limits, potentially. I'd imagine that's what 3 seconds is for. Grovey, though, still chasing Landon up front as these two continue to duel for the lead. It's been a very entertaining battle between them so far. I'm looking forward to seeing it continue.
Yeah, I can't wait for this second stint of this race. Obviously, everything's kind of mellowing down a little bit. Obviously, still exciting racing. However, in terms of strategy, now drivers need to be thinking about that second stint. The most important stint, because these are the tyres you are going to finish the race on. And obviously, for Grovey, she'll be finishing on the faster compound of tyre. My favourite compound of tyre, the medium. So she's going to have to put in to plan with that. But yeah, the drivers with penalties are all on 3-second penalties. We've obviously know how hard it is to avoid track limit warnings around this circuit. So those drivers, 5 of them picking that up.
Grovey, they're backing off going into Tamburello. Perhaps thought wasn't too wise to go for a move just yet. Maybe biding her time a bit longer. But the longer she waits, the more chance there is of Imre and Grumio creeping back in behind her. As JB takes Ethan here, going towards turn 1. This one must have a better exit out of the second Ravazza and retakes 7th place at Tamburello. But Ethan might come right back at him here, Pope. Keep an eye out. JB's very low on battery as well. You see that red light flashing on the brake light and on the rear wing. But JB getting away nice and safe, but not great exit there through Villeneuve. Ethan to the outside, looking for P7 as they go through at Tosa, that's the name. Sorry, I always remember this corner name from learning them in general. As they make their way through towards that, or going down towards Ackerman Raleigh now. Ethan on the outside, he'll have the inside of this next right-hander and looks to pull in front of JB, but it doesn't quite do it. JB holding his own on the outside there, and these two continue to go at it, and JB only just gets away with it. And now PJ looking to try and take Ethan.
Oh,
sorry guys, can I get it?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, mate. Can I? Hey, I've just had to come in. Can I get an invite? Do you mind?
Yeah. Pope, it's going on for us. Is that okay?
Yeah, I believe I've got you added somewhere, Websy.
Well, that is a rarity. Websy, how you doing?
I know, good. Yeah, all my internet and everything went off, so I'm just trying to struggle to get back in.
I see.
Am I lap down yet?
No, it's close. It just pitted for hard tyres, from what I'm seeing here. So,
okay.
On the bright side, you don't think about pit stop.
I don't seem to have you added.
I think I'll see if I do. Bear with me. Hopefully
all right.
I do.
If not, you can't. It's one of them things.
I don't either.
You're not that far off as well, Websy. We'll get you back in, my friend. Actually, I'll do it this way. You're on Xbox, aren't you?
Yeah, just Websy.
There we go.
WEBBSII. Got it. Thank you. I don't know if I'll get in, but just say.
Cross for you, mate. We have to make sure we finish it because.
Oh no, unable to connect crossplay. I've got enable crossplay. God's sake. This could be internet in it. Would you send me another invite in about 2 minutes, please?
Of course, can.
I'll get it all sorted out. You'll send it now, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry about all this.
That's alright. Oh, Imre in the pit lane there.
Yeah, right, that's all sorted. But yeah, Imre in the pit lane. Lap 15 now we are on, but I've just got to say it. Lap 14 in those tyres. Who guessed the pit strategy right? Myself. I'm very proud of myself on that one.
Indeed you did, and fans in as well.
Yeah, so those medium tyres are going to start peeling in.
Oh, PJ, 5-second penalty there. That won't help Alpine's case at all, especially in that pack, which has now been broken up a little bit here. Now it's BJ leading that train. So Imre the first of the leaders to bite the bullet and come into the pits. So I imagine that that Landor will perhaps join him shortly. Well, those two are both on the medium tyres. Grovey, of course, and Grumio on the hards, as well as Slashner could go a bit longer. So I have to wait and see as to what they plan to do. Does Shane close back in
I'm
that pack? He does.
See what position they put out in the Red Bulls, that is. And I think for Schlesinger, I think he needs a switch of tyre because really stagnated on these hard tyres. We saw some incredible pace early on in the race, and then it just kind of fell apart
Imri.
when he wasn't with the pack.
Imri,
3
time penalty
seconds
there, yeah.
time.
That could be costly.
Oh. In such a tight pack that is that top 4, Imri gonna really struggle now, and obviously he's got to make his way through cars. He just kind of has to hope that Ethan pits on this lap because he will catch up with Ethan, and even Curtis as well. Curtis obviously going to be staying out a few laps extra compared to what Imri did and what Ethan will be doing. So be interested to see if he gets a bit stuck behind these cars.
Ethan and BJ both in the pit lane here, no doubt looking for some hard tyres, sorry. Lycon, a second judge hit with a 5-second penalty, that's for speeding in the pit lane. So not fantastic. But as you say, that 3 seconds will definitely impact Imri massively. Talking of impact, of course, the incident earlier on for Shane, we thought we could have put him out of a contention with that pack, but he's on the back of them now. He's now that JB, Lucky, PJ have all pitted. I think these guys will all emerge sort of together-ish. Shane is now back with that pack and will be chasing points as he goes side by side with BJ into turn 1. Contact! Both cars come away unscathed, but only time lost between those two. Contact with wheel on side pod there. Both of them getting away, at least in terms of, say, front wing damage. I think both are alright. But Shane back to the pack now.
The main thing is the damage on the cars being okay, but as you're saying, obviously Shane has really used that undercut to his advantage, but his tyres are going to be so much worn compared at the end of the race. 5 laps extra compared to some of these in that pack, so obviously you'll be able to save when the pack's going a certain speed, but something to keep in mind. Grovey in the pits as well, a bit early, I would say.
Grovey a landlord.
So
Grovey now on medium tyres, landlord down hard. Imri sets the fastest lap and comes through in front of those guys. It won't be enough just yet because he's still got that. He has that penalty to contend with, and now he's also got the Alfa Romeo of Curtis in his way. He's going to try and get him out of the way as quickly as he can here. Right now, he only just sits 3 seconds in front of Grovey, but I imagine that'll go down quite quickly thanks to those medium tyres on the Red Bull. And the more time he spends behind Curtis, the more time he loses. So I imagine he's getting quite frustrated behind the wheel of that Ferrari. He's really sitting right behind him. He's got little to no battery left on him. He's going to have to really save some here, Pope, for the second half of this Grand Prix to keep him give him a fighting chance of actually winning this race, or perhaps even trying to get a spot on the podium.
That is what I've noticed with Imri. The battery usage is a real key part. As look how much grip he's got compared to Curtis. But
Curtis keeps it in front.
Defending. This is something that we know. Curtis.
Oh, contact!
Oh, not expecting Curtis to go that slow. I imagine through the chicane, obviously.
And Grovey right behind him now.
But yeah, that is a 3-second gap. And
Grimmy on the pits.
So quickly.
Grimmy on to set medium tyres here. As you say, Curtis, as you say, Pope, 3 seconds evaporated. Curtis, almost like a Sergio Perez to Grovey's Max Verstappen here as they make their way off the last corner and down the main straight. Grovey going through wide between both of them there and taking the lead. Taking the net race lead for now. Sliding just do it to pit, but what a move there. Pope, did you see that? That was amazing.
That was fantastic. That bull swiftly made her way through 2 Ferrari-powered engines on either side. That is incredible. It shows the confidence Grovey has. This is her best opportunity for her first race win here in RDL. Teammate ahead, Imri behind, who is going to be struggling now for the rest of the race in comparison to Grovey.
Plus the penalty.
Just needs to make plus penalty as well. So realistically, you have to just make sure Landlord doesn't catch up too much, and hopefully Imri's tyres doesn't come back too quickly near the end of the race compared to Grovey's medium, but in a really, really good position now for the rest of this race.
Indeed. Of course, only car yet to pit right now is Schlesinger. Him and Arsenal fan both yet to stop, as well as Courtney Goblin, sorry. So 3 cars are still waiting on, but in terms of car separating Grovey from the lead, Schlesinger stays out again here, but he's losing a lot of time. Of course, that gap is closing by about almost a tenth of a second here. This is amazing. Grovey's getting about half second within a couple of corners, and just set the fastest up there. 1 minute 15.988. Grovey, if I have a look at the fastest everyone else. Look at that. 1 minute 15 compared to the next. No one else has set 1 minute 15 today. It's been all 1 minute 16s to 118s. Grovey setting the time board to light here, and she's trying to pull away from Imri. He's not having it yet. He's still within 6/10, but that gap is opening mighty fast.
Yeah, it will just continue to open and open. Obviously, you'll see that game mainly in the end of the second sector and maybe even the start of the third sector. I think that's the best time game for those medium tyres, obviously with a lot more traction zones. But breaching that 1 second now is important. Grovey needs to make sure she does not get a penalty. That is number one for Grovey, but she can't let this occasion get to her. This is her best opportunity, like I said, to get a race win, her first race win, so really needs to make sure she does not do that. And I'm just looking at how Imri takes that chicane, and
oh, Lano penalty.
Different. I mean, that's even better for Grovey. Grovey cannot let this get to her head though, because you've still got Grubio chowing down.
Sargent just stays out once again here. 19 laps on those hard tyres, which is all the numbers we expect. So I imagine, Pope, could he be looking potentially at a set of soft tyres to go to the end on? What do you reckon?
I won't put it out the occasion. Obviously, for Slazenger, you'll be still in the points, I would say, just ahead of P8, maybe, of PJ Khaled. So, for Slazenger, it looks alright, but I think Slazenger's left it a little bit too long. I've made this mistake countless times before of just leaving that pit a bit too long and to just fall out of contention of the race. So, it's a bit of a shame for Slazenger, but might even come in handy to fend off Imri and Grumio later on if he stays out that much longer.
I think Curtis may have left it a bit longer as well. Remember, he was sort of the back of that train fighting from around P7 to P13, which likewise not joined that fight. Curtis now sits 5 seconds back from those guys. That train is sort of split a little bit here. Oh, Shane goes wide off into the gravel. Lycon takes the place away from him. But yeah, they're sort of split into two small packs now. PJ leads a 4-car train with him, JB, BJ, and Lucky. Eaton about 2 seconds back, leading Lycon and Shane. And Curtis is further 4.6 behind, but just should start gaining ground. He's getting about half a second so far. Fan with a penalty now. We're seeing a lot of track limits penalties right now, Pope. And the only ones we're looking at here who haven't got them in terms of the guys fighting for the win would be Grovey and Grumio. Now, if Grumio can close in and Grovey gets a penalty, then he could be in the money potentially. But he's got to pull the cat out of the bag and really go for it in these last 11 laps of this race.
Yeah, I think definitely for these drivers, it's a hard track. Trust me, I do know how hard it is to keep within the white lines around the circuit, because the track just flows to push you to the outside, making sure you use all that track. So it is something, as you see Courtney getting a free second time penalty as well. So yeah, these guys are very much struggling with keeping it in the white lines, but it's something that is gonna probably get brushed out over the course of the season. Obviously, at the end of the day, we've had one season on the game, but the drivers are getting used to new cars, and even if the cars are unequal, I can assure you they do feel different.
Me personally, I've never had to have that problem myself, so I'm thankful for that. Imri 1.4 down from Grovey now. Grumio about 2 seconds back from him. Landau a further 6 tenths behind. So those two will be looking to try and sort of pull each other towards the leaders if they can. As Slazenger finally calls it quits, comes into pit lane. Imri with another penalty here, and that will not help his case at all here. Grovey retakes the lead of the race. Imri up to second. Grumio now in third. And Landau fourth. And Slazenger, we'll see where he emerges to. I imagine he'll emerge in P6 in a world of his own. I don't think that PJ and his group will have enough time to catch him. It might be close. You never know. It depends how long it takes him to get out the pit lane here. But I think that Slazenger will emerge in P6. It's going to be very close. We'll keep an eye on PJ here as they come off the last corner. You should see him appearing on the screen any moment now. Not yet. PJ quite way back. Those guys will close in Slazenger quite quickly with the run they've got. Slazenger now is 12 seconds back from Fan. Can he close back in on those medium tyres, Pope? What do you reckon?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Oh, contact, sorry. Sorry to cut you off there. Contact to Aston Martins. Lucky Lambert losing an end plate there. I think the JB got shuffled back in Tamburello. Yellow flag behind him. That's a car off on the gravel. That is Shane in the gravel again. Recovers it fast, but I dare say his chances of any points are over today, Pope.
Yeah, I believe so, and I think for Lucky as well, who's had to just let loads of cars past to make sure that he doesn't block them going into Tosa. So a shame for Lucky. Yeah, he's really struggling with the grip on that car. Obviously, will be sent to the stewards. But it's the one thing you don't want to do is collide with your teammate. That's rule number 1 of F1. Do not collide with your teammate. And for the Aston Martins, that debrief will be slightly awkward a little bit later on.
I think I have to agree with you there. From honest, Lando and Grumio going side by side position here. Lando into 3rd place and pushing ever so slowly into DRS range. Only about another 10th or 2 of those guys to get themselves back within range of Imrie. Now, you'd think, in terms of the Williams team game here, of course, I mean, obviously the Williams cars, they will, at least the team pairing are very quick, work very well together. But do you, Lando, Pope, do you see Lando perhaps moving over for Grumio and letting him chase down Grovey should he get around him?
So I'm just debating this now. Obviously, at the moment, it is Landlord versus Grumio in the title, but they still want to get the race wins for Williams and just secure that Constructors' Championship. It clearly to see that Landlord's got a bit more pace this race, so I think they're going to use Landlord as kind of a battering ram to kind of push off Imrie and then let Grumio slide on through and then, yes, get within probably 3 seconds and kind of hope that Grovey makes that mistake. If we have a look at the race director, I'll let you continue, but I'm going to go and try and find out how many penalties Grovey's on. Not to add any pressure to her, however, it's something that is going to be interesting to keep an eye out for.
And Lando going for a run here. He's kept close to Imrie very quickly. Looking at 2nd place now and taking 2nd place. Grumio left in the dust there as Lando goes up to P2. The championship leader will now look to try to hunt down Grovey for the race lead if he can. But I imagine Grumio will want to try and get around Imrie so as to not lose time to his teammate here. Grovey 1.7 clear of Landlord, but Landlord has got the pace today. And we are closing in on the end of this Grand Prix. It's gone flying by. We're already on lap 24.
That's one thing I do like about Imola is how quickly it goes by. And having a look at that race director, Grovey's not got too much to worry about. 1 warning to her name right now, so in a pretty good position to. Obviously, you can make one more mistake and go over that line one more time, and then the next time you go, you'll get that 3-second time penalty. So, yeah, not too much to worry about for Grovey, but oh my lord, Landlord's just took that chicane beautifully. Wow, I'm actually in a bit of disbelief with that.
Can you imagine? Do you remember taking the chicane that good at any point in your career?
Yes, because if you did not know, this is where I won my championship in season 11, so this track means the world to me. This is the track that I won that championship at. So.
Oh, was this one of the late editions on the calendar that season?
Yes.
And then it was Brazil.
Yeah, so it was Imola, a couple other tracks, and then Brazil. Because obviously Jeddah was added as well.
Oh yeah, true. Fair enough.
And I won. I did not win Imola, to my knowledge. I don't think. But I outscored BJ because BJ retired. I'd have to go and double check that. I'm actually going to go and double check that in the meantime. But yeah, a track that does mean the world to me.
Fair enough, and it's it's a very good circuit as well. I've come around to this circuit in particular. If I'm completely honest, I'm looking forward to having it back on the F1 calendar this year. In the meantime, Grumio has taken Imrie for 3rd place, so Imrie at the back of this pack, and chances are won't finish on the podium today. But still, 4th place on his return to the league, a very successful return, if I do say so myself. Given the pace he's shown today, perhaps one of his best races we've seen him run in this league to date. But I think now the chase begins between, in particular, Grumio and Grovey, as Lucky Lambert gets hit with the penalty for 3 seconds himself. Now, this is the question we're asking, Pope. Does Lando let Grumio go? This main straight will be a key opportunity for him to try and do it. You can really see Grumio pushing the snot out of Landlord here. These guys 1.5 seconds back from the leader. Grovey 7 laps away from her first victory, but she had to work a lot harder for it in these closing stages. Grumio to the outside now, looking for P2 off of Landlord, and he'll take P2 off of Landlord, and now the pressure's on. The hunt well and truly begins as Grumio will lead that pack of him alongside 2 very fast cars and already close that gap to 4/10. Grovey 1.1 the gap is. It was 1.5. Grumio's just gained 4/10 there. What a run towards turn 1, and all of a sudden we've got a race in our hands.
Yeah, this is what they need to do now. These Williams need to just use each other, DRS bounce off each other, drag each other to Grovey. And I'm saying that, but it looks like Grumio is just completely hit another gear now. Obviously, saving a bit of ERS, I imagine, behind Landlord. But yeah, very, very interested to see if Grumio's going to be able to catch Grovey. This is going to be a very tense final few laps.
Indeed it is. I couldn't imagine the pressure on Grovey's shoulders here. Of course, joined the league last season. One of the drivers who joined mid-season made a debut at Singapore, finishing P5 after making 5 stops. It was high fives for her that day. I think she'd be deserving a high five from everyone if she manages to bring this home. She's got 6 laps to go, and she's got to keep Grumio at bay as well. I can't imagine the pressure there, keeping the record champion on his toes and trying to defend from him, hunting for your first race win. I couldn't imagine the pressure for that.
Yeah, it must be crazy. And going back to what I was saying about getting a race win here at Imola, I did get a race win. I did. Remember, but I did get a race win in an Aston Martin. So, yeah, I'm the first ever winner in RDL around this circuit. So that might be the new stickler.
That only applies when we come here. Now I just realised you're defending Monaco winner title only lasts for this week because next week we go to Monaco and you'll be here with me and not being able to win.
That is true, and it's going to be quite emotional to not race that circuit. However, I feel like I can give a very different insight in a way.
Definitely.
For someone who has won it multiple times and arguably it's my best track. Not undoubtedly, it's my best track.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm thinking the favourite for next week's race if he's here will be Landlord, I reckon. Although we haven't seen the pace of some of these newer drivers around Monaco, so we could be in potential for some new surprises next week when we arrive to the Principality course. That'll be next week, the 19th of February. Make sure not to miss it. Same place, same time on this very channel. But we've still got 5 laps to go here at Imola. In terms of that race of points, it's now Lycon in P7 and BJ in P8. Those guys leading that train. BJ's come from the back of the pack here. So for him to now have a point in these late stages would be fantastic for him. PJ now in P9, still in DRS range. Curtis P10, JB 11th. The racers sort of falling away for the Aston Martins after that collision. So unfortunate for them. I'm sure they'll bounce back next week. But you never know. Anything could happen in these late stages. I think we'd have time if it was in the next lap and a half for a safety car to bounce everyone up. But I think it's unlikely given the driving standards from today. Everyone's been very clean today. It's been great to watch.
Yeah, really good racing from the pack. And yeah, just have a look at that penalty situation. I don't believe Lycon and PJ will be near the points anytime soon. Obviously, BJ now just picking up a 3-second time penalty. 11 seconds for both Lycon and PJ.
Oh, wow. I didn't realise that. It looks like Curtis with 11 points and Ethan with 11 points as well.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be a big reshuffle.
Around goes PJ.
That's not what you want to see there at
Tamburello, not at all.
Tamburello turn 2.
Go, yeah.
Oh, it's a shame for PJ once again, late on in the race, having a spin. I think BJ's fantastic. PJ, sorry, is fantastic. I just want to get those points on the board. That would be fantastic.
4 laps to go. It looks like Grumio is now. He didn't get. It wasn't there at the detection point, but he is now in DRS range. Grovy's got to not feel the pressure now, but look at that red light you're seeing on the back of Grovy's Red Bull. She's low on the RS, but so is Grumio as well. Everyone's quite low on the RS. Imri's been low, perhaps since the race started, more or less. Grovy though, that'll be the main concern because she's got no DRS to help her as well. Grumio does, and we've seen how much he can conserve the RS and still keep pace. He is closing that gap. Could he be in position to cruelly deny Grovy at the flag? I have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think cruelly deny is the best verbs for it. I mean, it is going to be really tough to see Grumio win against Grovy, who has been so desperate for this race win and so deserving of her first race win. But it's just feeling the pressure a little bit now. I think those tyres are starting to fade, starting to scream in agony. But yeah, really kind of struggling to keep the car straight in the traction zone. You see a lot of sliding from that Red Bull, and Grumio is just using that years of experience.
He's right there.
Record amount of championships to his advantage and really putting on that pressure.
Start playing the Jaws theme. Here comes the record champion down the main straight for his first attack on Grovy. He's got 3 laps to do it. It's a 3-lap shootout for victory here at Imola. Grumio to the outside. Yellow flag, sector 1 in front of them. Grumio nabs the lead. But can Grovy come back at him?
I think that's the main thing, is make sure that Grumio does not get away, rather than, it doesn't matter about defending necessarily, but even if it was for Grovy, I'd just kind of sit behind a little bit, save that ARS. You know you've got less than him. Or you can imagine, so it's Grumio was fantastic with management of the car, but just sit behind for this lap and next lap and go on lap 32, attack.
It'll be that DRS zone that'll be key as to who emerges in front, otherwise it may have to be settled by a move elsewhere on the circuit. And Imola doesn't have a lot of overtaking opportunities without a little risk in there as well. That's the big thing. I'd imagine one of the better places to be potentially would be down at the chicane or on the longer straights going towards perhaps one of the Ravatas or the Villeneuve chicane. There's opportunities there, but they've all got that element of risk to them. And do you want to risk that much for the race win? We'll see how badly Grovey wants it if she emerges in second place in the last lap. Grumio catching Red J here. The blue flags will end up be flying for the Ferrari here as they make their way through the two Ravatas once again. This means Grumio should get DRS off of the Ferrari if my memory of the rules is correct. We'll have to keep an eye on his rear wing opening up here. It does open up. That could make Grovey's job a little bit harder this time, but it just means just keep saving ERS and perhaps go, and as you say, Pope, go for a run that last lap. But will they catch Websy in time as well? Sorry, will they catch Cottony Goblin, sorry? And that could give me more DRS for Grumio.
That is what I'm thinking right now. I think he might have hit these blue flag cars at the most perfect time for Grumio and the most heartbreaking time for Grovey. Obviously, Grovey is staying within pretty much 3/10 of the car ahead, which is just crazy to think about how good these cars can follow in this generation of the regulation. So it's very impressive by these, but I think it is now a two-horse race to see who gets it as we head halfway through the lap now. I do believe they will get DRS off Cottony Goblin.
It's going to be very close as to whether or not they do sort it out. It depends on when Cottony Goblin starts to lift when those guys arrive. It's close. I don't think he will penalty there. And going through the detection zone, I don't think Grumio's going to have it this time. This will be Grovey's race to try and win. But she's fallen back a little bit here. She's about half a second back because that DRS is very strong. We've got a lap to go here at Imola. We could see the record champion reminding Grovey whose house it is, or Grovey beating the house and perhaps winning for the first time. A poor exit of that last corner there. She's going to need that DRS here. One more lap to go at Imola. Grumio is pulling away, perhaps getting a toe off of Cottony. But if Cottony holds him up essentially through the Tamburello, Grovey can come right back into the fight here. It's not over yet. Grovey's used a lot of her battery. A mistake from either one of them could be the race. If Grumio makes a mistake, he's lost it. Grovey, those tyres are a complete agony right now. And I'm sure she's definitely feeling the pressure here, trying to get around the champion. Oh, poor run through Villeneuve. Grovey falling away, and this could be Grumio's race here. Cottony Goblin out of the way. Grovey chasing the tail of that Williams. But I think it could be all over her. She's done so well today, led so many laps, it's going to amount to nothing short of a Grumio mistake on this last lap. But I've seen him make the mistake before. I've seen him lose a race on a penalty in the last corner of Canada several seasons ago. It could still happen, you never know. But Grumio right now is headed for the flag. Yellow flag, Arsenal fans out of the race. The first retiree in the last lap. The two Mercedes cars will finish dead last today. Grumio needs to keep it clean here. Grovey looking for any last scraps he can try and get out of this run. It looks like it's all over, Pope. It looks like this is Grumio's race. This will be his first, of course, took the victory on track after things last week in Miami. But this will be his first win to come over to check a flag and take it. Grumio wins at Imola. Grovey home in second. Landlord third. Imrie in fourth place there. Grumio wins it. Another win for his tally. And Grovey must be heartbroken, Pope.
Yeah, I feel like it was completely lost on that exit of the second chicane, the sector 3 chicane right before that DRS run. Nearly 6/10 gap, and I think I've described my 6/10 rule as if you're within 6/10, you've got a chance of an overtake. If you're any more than that, there is no chance of an overtake, and I feel like we saw that come into fruition. Which is such a shame for Grovey. She drove fantastically and utterly, I think, deserved the race win, but when you're a record champ, you're that for a reason, and obviously Grumio showing that by getting that race win. But the top 4 very close. Obviously penalties make it distanced between Landlord and Imrie, but really good race, I think, between that top 4. So huge congratulations to them, and obviously Slazenger recovery into P5, not too bad by that other Red Bull.
Not bad at all. Fan finishes in 6th place. Curtis comes home 7th in the end after penalties, and BJ from last on the grid gets himself a point. But it is Grumio who reminds us whose house this league has been for several seasons now, and the 6-time champion continuing on his push for a 7th title to further increase the record, wins it here today. But you do have to feel for that Red Bull driver who drove her heart out today. It is a shame, but that can be the cruelty of league racing sometimes. Pope, give me your thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Cruel sport, but like I say, fantastic. And great recovery from qualifying for Grumio, obviously, from P5 to P1. Very close, but Grumio and Grovey was in a league of their own today. The only people really contending for a lap time in the 15s, obviously Grovey getting that. Obviously Curtis as well from P17 to P7 and BJP18 to P8. Both scoring points, really well deserved, and huge congratulations to them. I think they really need that to kind of kick off their season a little bit more.
I have to ask, is the result different without those lap cars giving Grumio DRS? What do you think?
Honestly, I don't think so. I really don't. I feel obviously you didn't get DRS on that last lap, and I think that's where it was lost. I think it was lost on lap 31, and so maybe it could have been a little bit different, but I don't think that much different. I think Grumio can take control of those situations. It is very daunting. I've been in that position with Grumio myself. It is a very daunting position to be in when you know you've got someone who's so good at controlling the situation and making it suit them. Yeah, hard thing to do.
Indeed. What a fantastic race though we had here today, Imola. Easily one of the best in quite a while. I'm about to get post-race interviews going here very shortly.
I'd love Websy in for a post-race interview. I think you'd have a real big discussion about that first half of the race.
Definitely, yeah.
Can't believe you enjoyed it. That was
the first time I've ever seen someone do it mid-race. Actually, no, it's not. Second time. Actually, no. Yeah, first time. Because when you came in, you were out of the race both times.
I was, yeah. Obviously, I don't know if the stream heard. I'm not too sure how you've set that up, but if you didn't hear on the stream, Websy joined us midway to.
No. They did hear it. My thing's just for Discord in general. It would have sounded quite weird if there was just no if we were just talking to no one.
Well, yeah, that's what I was kind of a bit worried about.
We'll stick around for a few minutes here, see if there were any post-race interviews to be done here. Of course, we do have to think of our word of the race, as we often do. What do you reckon the word should be this week?
Penalties.
Penalties.
Penalties, track limit penalties in particular, but penalties has been the word of the race.
So there is your word then.
Confusing.
So the word is penalties. So for those of you who are still here, make sure to go to the comments of the stream and write down the word penalties and let us know what you think of Pope's commentary. And I'm personally looking forward to seeing how he'll handle Monaco next week. I imagine he'll want to jump out there or find any way to reserve. I can only imagine. But I've tipped off JB and I don't think he'll allow you to race.
Yeah, no, it's been confirmed for a while that I will not be racing in that.
It's an momentous occasion. We've been waiting for this day for quite a while, Pope.
Yeah, it's gonna be good fun. I'm gonna have to try and find a way to entertain myself.
Fair enough.
But yeah, one thing I will, and it's just been mentioned in the Discord, is Alpine and Aston Martin, after being so close to their points with all four drivers competing for it, none of them score points today. Huge shame for those two teams.
I see Red J down the chat there. No penalties in the end, so mate, so well done there. One of the few drivers to emerge with no penalties. Of course, both are finishing our top two in the finishing order did, or they went without penalties. I see Grovey's making Pope jokes, trying to reserve for Monaco already. I have to let her know that he's not allowed. And I don't think we're seeing any post interviews going on this week. So yeah, I think that will cap us off for tonight. Actually, I'm being messaged by JB here. I'll see if he wants to go for one. We'll see if we can get JB along. Get a last interview here before we cap off our night.
I think JB's post-race interview is really funny.
Well, I think we're about to see him in just a moment.
Oh dear.
I'll send him the link. There you go. Just waiting now on JB. It's been a little while since we've had a JB interview. Actually, no, I think we had one in Brazil in the last season. JB, yeah, there, mate. Can you hear us?
Hello, yeah.
Well, that was a definitely a fun race. I think from your perspective, where you guys were in that massive pack, you must have enjoyed that. Talk us through it.
No, it's good racing, yeah. didn't quite go to plan in the end. So there was after the first pit stop, and we all just sort of following each other. But me and PJ tried to go side by side through the first chicane, and we didn't quite get through. And I had to back off so much. And unfortunately, Lucky hit me and lost a bit of his wing. So I kind of ruined the race because just lost my composure and then kept getting track limit warnings, which I think a lot of people suffered with today. But no, it was good racing, and I'm glad it was, because obviously if you don't get points, then at least you had a good race.
I believe we. Sorry, I was about to say I thought it was lucky with the points in the end, but it also had penalties. Of course, in terms of the race for the win, Grumio and Grovey were really going at it in the late stages. Grumio winning out just about. Any thoughts on those two, giving us quite a tussle in the late stages?
To be honest, I was so focused on my own race, because you obviously have someone directly in front of you and you're worrying about DRS and things like that. But those guys just pulled away so much at the start. It was like the top 6 and then everyone else. But if it was a good race up there, then I'm very glad to hear it. And Grumio obviously won last week, and Grovey's very close to winning. So hopefully in the next one she can do it.
Potentially, yeah, never know. One thing I did want to touch on, obviously, as we know, you're the owner of the league. Did it please you today to see so few, in terms of obviously the penalties were a factor, but did it please you to see so few retirements to today's race, just the one from Arsenal fan the last lap?
Well, even with Arsenal's, it was so late that it was classified, so everyone technically was classified, which is great. Doesn't always happen, and Imola, I think, is a track where you tend to see people spinning off and hitting tyre barriers and things, so yeah, it was really good. It might be to do with the fact it's quite a high downforce track, so there's less of a chance of spinning. But I think generally the race seems clean, and yeah, hopefully that will continue.
Definitely, but can we imagine the same sort of thing going on Monaco next week, do you reckon?
Oh, if everyone finishes there, I'll be shocked. Sometimes you have these Monaco races where you're surprised actually at how many people finish, or how few incidents there are, and other times it's the opposite. So expect one extreme or the other, I think.
And can you?
I believe last time we didn't have any incidents.
No, I don't think so. No. So
I think it was
this
I think
season.
it was one of those ones where it's quiet. Hopefully the same.
Yeah, hopefully.
Regardless of the how it goes, can you confirm to everyone on stream that Pope is not allowed to race next week?
I don't think Pope can race. So.
It's Monaco. I'm always nervous he tries to find a way. Is all.
Oh,
I might just head
well, you
home
never
for
know.
the weekend. You never know.
Well, we'll find out. JB, in terms of your prospects for next week, what do you reckon? Is there points on the cards, do you think?
I tend to do well at Monaco. I don't know why. People, I don't know. It just, I guess more people make mistakes than I do. It's just strange, because I'm not normally quick and I tend to struggle in practice, but then I somehow pick up a few points. So hopefully it will continue, because obviously today I just missed out, even though I was in the top 8 for most of the race.
Yeah, so sometimes one of those days sort of happens in terms of
Yeah.
Well, obviously the pace was good. I mean, you guys were in that large pack together. That was probably one of the most fun parts of this Grand Prix, if I'm honest. Pope was
I was
loving
running
it.
a lot more downforce than the guys around me, so I sort of had to get ahead, and then obviously when the DRS came up, I was just a sitting duck. So it was kind of the cycle all race, but it was good racing.
Fair enough, and definitely good prospects for you and lucky Aston Martin. Right, so that will that'll do it. That'll do it. So congratulations on the good run today in terms of pace. You guys did very well there, and perhaps we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
And that will cap us off then for tonight. Pope, is there any final thoughts you want to give before we finish things off?
I think obviously going into next week, the track it's Monaco. It's the crown jewel of the calendar, and it's going to be exciting. So I do urge everyone to go and watch that, even though obviously sometimes it might not be the most visually entertaining, and you won't see as many overtakes as you did here in Imola. But it's Monaco. You cannot miss it. So like I say, urge everyone to watch along next week.
Definitely should be a blast. You can catch everything here on the 19th of February, same time next week, same channel. Make sure to subscribe if you are new for more fantastic racing like that and for more exciting live streams like that. So until the next stream or the next video, you guys have a splendid day. From myself and Pope, it's goodbye, and we shall see you next time. And we're out.